Welcome back to my channel, E with Reality. Please make sure you are subscribing to the channel and liking the video. I really appreciate it. Now we're going to get into, again, these messy streets of Love Island. Ooh, we are one night closer to movie night. Tomorrow is probably, going to be cray cray. So, can't wait for that. But let's get into tonight's episode. So, after, of course, Carl and Amora are back in the villa, um, the girls kind of sit around um, the fire pit. Of course, the boys go and they talk about Amora's like, the girls are letting her know, like, we're happy to have you here. We're glad you're here, so on and so forth. And so they're like, how was Casa? And she was like, it was really fun. It was a great experience. Um, I can't, I think Melanie asked how was Sincere. She was like, they had a connection. She kind of downplayed it at first, like in this first conversation. But she did let her know that she did want to have a conversation with her and that she would be talking to Sincere as well. She said that she referenced that because we didn't really see Zach doing a lot, but she referenced that Zach was doing a lot, and Kayla was kind of like, "What do you mean he was doing a lot?" And she was like, "Oh well, in challenges, like he was a," and so she was like, "Oh, so." Then TT gets up and kind of breaks up the conversation and asks her, "Can I put you for a chat?" So then Kayla's kind of left in the moment, kind of like, "Wait a minute, what just happened here?" And so Trinity's trying to be like, she just said it was in a challenge. She was like, no, but she was alluding to like it was something else happening. And I'm like, she definitely was. But again, we didn't see it on our TV screens because, again, Zach's person got booted. Again, I'm not sure why. I don't know if they're not allowed to tell, but the fact that I'm just going to jump forward real quick for a sec. The fact that Zach is acting like he just completely made this choice of coming back to Kada, even though I do feel like he would have, but to feel like to be like you came back to her and 100%, oops, I can't even talk. You came back to her because I feel like you would have, but your person was gone. So you didn't even have a tough decision to make because there was nobody there for you to make it. The girl was gone. So for you to be sitting up here and to like, but I came back to you and anyways, roll it back. Um, so of course the guys are over there talking and they're talking to Carl and he's, like he's happy to be back. And again, Casey with some of his ad libs, I don't understand this man. I do not understand this man. And I need him to get it together quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because the the complete turnaround, the completely different person that you are. This was you the whole time. This is who you are. You should have just came in being you instead of trying to be something that you weren't. So again, fast forward a little bit, I can appreciate the conversation between what that boy name? I don't even know why he in there. Gall, him, and Jen. I can appreciate the conversation because I feel like that's what you and Anaya should have did early on. Guess what? They're still in a couple. So you could have easily just been like, okay, we're just going to stay in a couple for the time being and then we'll see if we can find something else. I can appreciate him saying that I can't deal with what you're needing from me. I'm not going to be able to give you what you're needing from me. Now, she act like she didn't understand, but that way he told her. He said he ain't a touchy feely, but I still was a little confused by him too. I'm all over the place with this one. I'm still a little confused by him because and then we see him later on locking lips with Kenzie, which we don't get to Kenzie. But anyways, back to Carl. Carl does say that he's happy. You got Casey in the confessional saying that, thank God Key's back. She can get off my DICK. I was like, what? That girl probably hasn't even spoken to you since you got back. And just because you disrespect her, she felt disrespected by you, has nothing to do with another man. You gonna always be a piece of SHIT in her eyes. I done come across a few of those. So just because I ain't dealing with you, don't mean I don't feel no difference about you. And don't mean that if I do see you, just act like you don't know me. Just act like you don't know me. Yeah, I'm good on you. We don't gotta talk. We don't gotta nothing. I can stand here. I can not even see you standing there. So I just again thought it was a weird comment to be like, oh, now she can get off my DICK. First of all, half the reason she was saying the stuff that she was saying to you the day before is because it was a challenge. And the point of the challenge was to do what? To get some things off your chest, pretty much. And so she did. On to the next. Yeah, so Carl says that, he does have some walls up, which of course is understandable because he wasn't picked. But I hope he doesn't get around the dudes and try to fit in with the men because, again, with them losers you were with on After Sun, you again showed very emotional intelligence in understanding why she made the pick that she did. So hopefully, again, y'all can move forward or getting to know each other even more because now you do have more time with her. Ouch. So Casey, he still hasn't made the time to talk to Anaya. Um, I personally at this point I was just like I don't even know. Honestly, fast forwarding it, I'm sorry, Casey is a coward. Casey is a little boy. A little boy. At least stupid Corbin, when he pulls Kenzie, even though she don't want to hear anything he really got to say, and I don't blame her. But again, Kenzie is out here. Kenzie in these streets. Kenzie in the streets for the streets. I mean, that's just what it's about. Baby Kenzie out here, she in the streets for the streets, in the streets for the streets. I'm like, but anyways, okay, I'm sorry. So you have Corbin, him and Parmita, they talking, and I don't know. I just feel like they share the same brain. I just feel like they share the same brain. I'm like, you literally just met him 3 days ago, and you're like, I'm closed off. And then he's like, I mean, I've explored everyone in here. So you can go do your thing. But she's closed off after meeting someone um, 2 days ago. Ooh. But the other girls were acting like they were married. The other girls are acting like they married. But girl, you already closed off and you just met this man 3 days ago. Okay. You know. Of course, it only applies when it's to other people. It don't apply to us. It don't apply to self. It only applies to other people. So he, lets her know that he's gonna have a conversation with Kenzie. and basically asking like, is she okay? And she's like, if you feel like you have to have a conversation with her, I think you owe her a conversation, da da da. So it was the fact that she went over and was like, I have an announcement. Baby, she had an announcement. She wanted to let the people know, honey. Her and Corbin are closed off. Jill was looking like, okay, well, you know, I guess so. That's what I said. Okay, I guess so. But again, the OG girls who been here for 3 weeks, they acting like they married to the people. You just got here 3 days ago and you already closed off. It's giving weird. Okay, but whatever. So Corbin does eventually pull Kenzie for, to apologize to her. And so he does apologize. And again, I do get her being upset, but I do appreciate him going to apologize because he needed to, because it was uncalled for. But again, it is Kenzie. Okay, that's not right. What he said about her, it wasn't right. Because he was lying. Because you did not have a connection with her. Because if you had a connection with her, there's no way. Like she said, which is very, very true. You hadn't even had a conversation with this girl yet, and you was already talking about throwing me away. Now again, Kenzie, you know, you lustful, and you lustful. You is lustful, baby. I just, I feel like you have some of the same traits as some of these men. And it's just all wrapped up in one. So you have a little bit of sincere in you because when you talk to one man, everything is like roses and the valleys and, rainbows and, spring showers and all the great things, you know. But then you also have a little Gabe and Corbin in you where you want to lust after everyone. You want to put your lips on everybody. You want your everybody lips on you. Um. So again, I don't understand how you can be too upset. Um. Because yeah, you've been Kenzie, baby. One thing you done did, baby, you don't work the villa. You don't work the villa. You done been everywhere. You done been everybody with. You done been everywhere with everybody. But anyways, so she basically is like, she don't she don't care. She don't like him, you know. She's just like, it is what it is, whatever. We don't gotta talk, we don't gotta nothing. So he's like, okay, whatever. So, um, I mean, while they were talking, Parmita was over there sitting on the counter. I'm like, it just be a lot going on some of these areas in the villa. Like when they was in the shower together, you don't typically see the girls in that typical shower because it is kind of see-through-ish. And I'm like, again, these people are a lot of these people are hypocrites. Lots. Because you have the Casa girls who are talking about the OG girls being so locked in, but y'all already locked in and y'all just got there. Then you got Parmita talking about Kenzie and Corbin had a lustful relationship. You just met him again 3 days ago. You are naked in the shower with him. Like, what? How much more lustful can that be? Like, is this how you roll in the real world? You out here just slinging it every which way as soon as you meet somebody? It's a lot. It's just a lot. But whatever. Anaya and Carl get to talk. Um, he does let her know that he is open to exploring with her, of course. And she's happy to hear that. And he does let her know that, his walls are up because of what happened. Um, but I think Anaya is just grateful for the opportunity of you saying like it is open, because like she said in her confessional, she does understand it's hard being a second option. Um, but again, I do need for people to understand that coming into this villa, sometimes you were somebody's second option. And that second option may end up being the best option. Sometimes people just get comfortable in things, just like in the real world. People stay in relationships because they're comfortable sometimes, knowing that they need to walk away. So, even in this scenario, sometimes you're just comfortable in your situation and you're just like, okay, I'm just going to chill. So, I feel like, again, that's kind of like what I was doing. It was like, okay, I'm just kind of comfortable here. Let me just chill. I don't want to rock the boat too much. So, I just don't think he should take too much offense to it, because she said great things about you. Again, because see, what you presented to her in the villa is also what you presented when you went on After Sun. Unlike the other men. See, so again, that is always the tricky part, because you present to me one way in 3 days, and then I'm expected to move forward in this journey with you. But then you just as worse than my first connection. So you know what? I already know that one. So let me just roll with that one. It makes no sense for me to get on this ride over here when I'm really very well aware of what's going on this ride over here. So hopefully, you know, he's just willing to, they can take things slow. Of course, they don't got to jump back into things or anything like that. Um, so, of course, Melanie is still working through this whole thing of Amora being there and Sincere. So, Sincere, she pulls Sincere first, I believe. Yes, she pulls Sincere first. I think, again, I'm out of order on this episode, so just roll with it. Just roll with it. Just roll with it. I'm just talking. Um, she pulls in Sincere, and they're having a chit chat, and he pretty much lets her know. I guess she was saying like he told her that he was kind of like downplaying, and so he was like he didn't feel like he was really downplaying. He said he told Melanie what happened, so it does sound like he did tell definitely Melanie that there was um some 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 stuff going on up under the covers, kissing and things like that. So Melanie is aware of that. So um, he does pretty much let her know that, because she said that I guess she didn't really appreciate being like basically his hall pass. But I have to get on Amora a little bit, because you said on After Sun that you already had seen how he did Soul before you got in there. So it just gives, did you think he was going to do something different? I mean, I don't know. But so I just feel like it was expected. Like, I feel like anybody that, even Melanie, like, you're coupling up with Sincere, you're going to get half truths. He's not really telling you exactly what he really feels, what he really wants. Um, because in the end of it, because I'm like, I don't know if Sincere is playing. I'm like, Sincere, you do realize you have to run over the audience to win this game. And you just have done a horrible, horrible job. I mean, and you seem like you could be a nice guy, but the lying is just crazy. You really have to work on. Like, he's the other side of KC. KC is Well, no. Him and Casey, let me take that back. They're almost one and the same, except for now that Casey's mask is off, he's an asshole. Opposed to Sincere, he gonna tell the girl all she wanna hear, and then he gonna let her down. He gonna put his hand under her. He gonna put a pillow. He gonna lay a blanket down, and he gonna softly lay her down. Casey, on the other hand, he's just gonna drop you as you hit your head and all that stuff. So they're like the same because they're gonna tell you what you want to hear. But eventually, when it's time to make hard decisions, Casey's just gonna be like, F it, and Sincere gonna, he gonna put the feathers down because he wants you to be comfortable when he say, I'm going back to Melanie. I'm gonna make you think it could have been you. It could have been you, but it's not. But I appreciate you and the time and effort that we put in with each other. I don't know. Sincere is just way too much. But um so that's why I was like, I don't even know why she's wasting her breath. Like being like, ooh, it was almost like a hall pass. I mean, girl, you knew it was almost like a hall pass when you walked in there and you coupled up with him. Because you could have, if you wanted to, you should have been taking time to get to know. That's why I say it's just so funny how the Cosmic girls were like, oh, the girls at the villa, they're da da da. But it almost seems like y'all did the same thing. Like y'all went in, y'all locked onto one person, and that was it. Nobody really explored anybody. Everybody locked in on one person. Because if you had an interest in Caleb, why you didn't talk to him? He was an easy go. He was the one to try to get into the villa with. Corbin already took his woman again. So you should have been over there trying to talk to him because you knew Sincere was full of it. You knew Sincere was full of it. So I'm like, that was a wasted opportunity. I don't even know why we're wasting our time talking to Sincere. And then I don't even know why you gotta pull Melanie. Because who cares? So when they gotta, I mean, Sincere did make his name, he did make it clear basically to her that he's not open to exploring that anymore. That was Casa. He's not open to it. So that door is closed. It's closed up. So when they get up and I guess they hug or whatever, when he got her big dog, I hollered. Oh my God, he got a big dog. I said, not big dog when you was just over there kissing on and licking it on and touching on and all kind of on over there in Costco. I'm over with big dog. I hollered. I said, ooh, if I don't know what the people gonna do with herself. She was like, big dog is crazy. I'm like, right, it really is. Big dog is crazy. Um, so, um, she pulls Melanie to talk to Melanie, and Melanie's just like, here we go. So she first wants to know what Sincere told her. So what it does sound like is that Sincere, because I didn't hear anything in that conversation, but between them, that Sincere told a lie about anything. So it does sound like he came back from Casa and told Melanie what happened in Casa. Now, the part that Sincere is getting ready to lose his mind about is, I'm sure they're gonna play that clip tomorrow in movie night with him telling her that if they had more time, it would have been her. That was crazy, crazy work. So yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping my girl can keep it together because I don't know. I do think after that it's just gonna be hard for Mel to come back from that. I think because I don't know what you could say that because why must you say things like that? If you say you don't mean them, or do you really mean them? Crazy work. So, but for the most part, it seems like what she was willing to tell Melanie is seems like information that Melanie already knew because again, there wasn't any aha moments in there where it was like, oh, Sincere told me da da da, and she didn't know that. Because again, she let Melanie start the conversation off. Then we have, of course, Kenzie. She, really likes Dylan, and they're talking about on the outside, and if they go, their first date would be kind of chill. They can go to the beach, that's how, of course, the first thing on Kenzie's mind is getting it in, getting it in, getting it in. Like this girl, you can't even talk about a first date without already ready to get it in. Kenzie, lustful. I'm like, and you really had the nerve to be like, but I'm not lustful, baby. You are number one. You are number one on the list. But anyways, so of course they kiss, so on and so forth. Um, Bryce, Trinity gets a text. Trinity and Bryce get to go on. Well, rewind. Um, Bryce is talking to Zach, and he's letting Zach know that he thinks he wants to ask Trinity to be his girlfriend. Da da da. So when they go on this romantic getaway, he thinks that that's where he's gonna ask her. So another scene we have Bryce, no, not Bryce. We have Zach and Sincere talking about when Amora basically was throwing some shots at Zach about what he had going on in Casa, and then Sincere starts to talk about what he got going on, and I don't know. Zach works my nerves. He just works my nerves because it's like for some reason it's almost like he's the big brother of everybody. Everybody go to him for advice, but I don't know why, because he's not good. He doesn't give good advice. He doesn't lead them in the right direction. It's just horrible. It's a red. It should be a big stop sign in front of Zach to where you can't even see him. So when you get ready to approach him, it just pops up, and you're like, oh, that's not the person I need to talk to. So, um, he, so Trinity and Bryce go on this romantic getaway. They go on the jet skis. Jet skis looked fun. They go out to this boat that's in the middle of the water, and they have champagne. I was a little concerned with the fact that they held the champagne pretty much the whole scene. I said their hands is probably tired. But he does end up asking her to be his girlfriend. Of course, she says yes. They kiss, so on and so forth. She does make a comment about being with an older man and how I can't remember if she said controlling or something along those lines, but she was like he just makes her feel comfortable. So I don't know. It'll be still interesting to see how that relationship develops. Um, So they go back, of course, they share their story of what they did, and Trinity lets the girls know that she's a girlfriend now. Not only he didn't ask me to close off, he asked me to be his girlfriend. Of course, all the girls hoop holler screaming. Then Bryce tells the boys, and they blah, 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 blah. So everybody's super happy for them. Um, then the ladies are getting ready for the evening. Um, Carl makes a great little toast for the new couple, and he thanks them for welcoming him. He feels a part of the family, and the main thing is we have Anaya and Casey have a conversation now. Casey, damn Casey, you can't even get this moment right. You went and asked her for a conversation. Can I pull you for a chat? Is what you asked her. You talk to her. Y'all go to talk. You tell her you can go ahead. You can start first. What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. She said, no, you can start first. He say, no, you can start first. So I'm with Anaya because at this point I would have just been like, the conversation. Just forget it. You didn't ask me to talk and you can't even start the conversation. Because when you pulled her, the first things out of your mouth should have been, I'm sorry. But you're not. So the producers must have been the ones that told you to pull her because you really didn't want to pull her. Because you should have already had in your mind what you wanted to say to her. Even if you couldn't get everything out that you wanted to say, you should have had an idea of the first thing was, Anaya, I'm sorry. I never meant to make you feel that way. But you telling her to start the conversation. So Anaya's like, okay, fine. Let me start the conversation. And again, she just begins to tell him, about how she felt disrespected and all the things, and him not even being able to look at her when he came in, and the way he spoke to her. And she calls him a coward. And he's like, I don't like that word. Okay, see, baby, you are a coward, honey. I'm so sorry. You are. You literally asked this woman to talk, and then you asked her to start the conversation. Dude, what are you talking about? Y'all were not you didn't pull her because y'all was getting ready to say, well, how was your day today? Oh, my day was fine. And how was yours? And what did you do? That wasn't the conversation. You were pulling her because of the events that had happened the previous day. And you knew that she was upset. You knew she was hurt and all the things. And you couldn't even start. So you can't even be like, oh, I don't like that word. You are a coward because you don't know how to speak. You don't know how to stand 10 toes down. You don't know how to do anything. Your communication is in the fucking trash. It's in the trash. Like, you literally should start over. Piecing it back together. Because your communication sucks. For you to be 23 years old. I mean, that is, quite young. But my goodness. You couldn't even have pulled the girl and then automatically off top before anything else was said just to say I'm sorry. Like she said, you have yet to even say I'm sorry. She had to point out to you to say I'm sorry. What are you pulling me for if you're not telling me I'm sorry? Guess what? Because Casey never cared about that girl. Casey never liked Anaya, period. It was all performative. Sorry, it just was. I don't care. Nothing happened to where, like in a relationship, to where if you're in a relationship with somebody and then say your partner cheats on you, that is something that would make you be like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't care about nothing you got going on. I just don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Nothing matters because you have been so hurt by this person. We're nowhere near that level. And the fact that you could not find any empathy for this girl in your heart is crazy. And again, to go and ask her for a chat and then ask her to start the conversation is crazy work. It just is. So, you know, he still didn't say too much in that conversation. He did say that, you know, he had a lot that he wanted to say. But like she said, once you started talking the way you were speaking to me, you could have started off with, you know, and I really appreciate that the connection that we had, but unfortunately I did find a better connect. There were just ways for you to say, talk to her and being able to let her down easily than what you did. So it's just whatever, you know. So Casey says, I can't remember if this is in the moment where he says, no. That was early. So, you know, she just lets him know, like, she don't want to be his friend. Dude, I don't F with you. Period. Yep. I don't F with your kind. Mm-mm. I said, I know that's right, girl. Run. Far away from him. Run away. Run away. Because that man's never cared about you. That man never cared nothing about that girl's feeling. None. None whatsoever. Because if he did, he would have moved differently. He still would have been able to have his connection with TT, but he definitely would have moved differently if he had any ounce of feelings for her. So I appreciate her letting him know, like, yeah, I'm good on you. Yep. Like, I'm not gonna like go out of my way being mean to you and doing all that stuff, but I'm good on you. I don't need nobody like you in my life. I know that's right here. I said, baby, let's wrap this up, put a fucking bow on it, and send it on this way. Send it on up out of here. So they get up, and she was like, well, that's it. And so he was like, one more hug for it. She was like, hell, I'm like, she basically just had to pry an apology out of you. You talking about a hug. Dude, F you and that hug you talking about. Yeah. F you and that hug. But that was pretty much the episode. And I don't know. Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. Movie night. Oh Lord, movie night is about to be crazy. So, but I want to say thank you for listening. And please make sure you are subscribing to the channel and liking the video. And please get down in the comments and leave me a message and we can talk about it. I would like to know other people's opinions. So, yeah. Well, thank you for listening. Have a great night.